So you have any questions from last time?
No.
Okay. I want to go over today I want to see if we could finish up all our first position chords. Sometimes they're referred to as the freshman 15 because there's 15 of them, and they also are, we do them in the early part of our learning. That's the term freshman. So let's start with E minor. Good. Just want to make mention, you have a great sound when you play. I can hear these notes nice and clear. So when you try to do other kinds of chords, always be conscious of that. You try to, you want to hear all the notes. Another thing that you do that I really like, you just brush across the strings. It's nothing, you don't want to hack into it. Just real easy. Beautiful. Now let's do E.
Wait, E?
Yeah, so you're gonna have the, yep. And then we move that over to A minor. Beautiful. We take the ring finger, move that over, and we have C.
Which one is this? G.
That's G, yeah. D. This is D minor. So that's first, third, second. Beautiful. And this is going to be D7. So that's 2, 1, 2. Beautiful. Okay, and if we move it over to here, it's A7. So that's middle. On the second fret, open G string. Yeah. And then we also have E7, which is E minus the ring finger. Yep. G7, which is G chord, but instead of like this, we're going to finger it like this. We're going to have an F note on top. Good. If we go back to a C chord, we're going to put the pinky down and we have a C7. So the pinky's on the G string, 3rd fret, and then we have on the B string, that C note. Yeah. We also have this one that's called B7. So this is 2, 1, 2. Good. Now, which brings us to our...
Is the last one open already?
Yeah, these two are open. Yeah. Now, which brings us to our first real bar form. With a bar chord, what we're going to do, let's start here. What we do is we mash our first finger onto the first fret of the B and E strings. Yeah, and I always sort of come at it on a little slant. And the idea is not to bend it, is to keep it straight and let the pad of your fingers cover the two notes there. Beautiful. Now we're going to add these two notes. Second fret on G string, third fret on D string. So when you're first learning it, one way to work on it, this, by the way, this is the hardest chord in this series. You can roll it or arpeggiate it. Let's try that. Exactly. Yes. Now this is a very important chord because, like I said before, it's our first bar chord. Now, if you've checked out any guitar websites or YouTubes or talked to any guitar players, a lot of times in the beginning they talk about bar chords being kind of hard. They're not really hard. It's just that they're a little tricky because you have to develop some strength in that respect. But this is the first bar chord. Sometimes we bar all 6 strings, or sometimes we bar just a few. Okay, so let's try it again. So. Yeah. Beautiful. Okay, so check it out. This is why this chord is important. Every fret we move it up, we've got a new chord. So here it's F. Starting here, it's F sharp. So move everything up just 1 fret. Excellent. Next fret is G. Next fret is G sharp. Next fret is A. B flat. Then B. Then C. C sharp, then D, E flat, E, and then we're back at F. Okay, so for the week, what I would say to do would just keep doing that until you can do that.
Yeah, I just like these 2 fingers just hit the other 2 strings, so like it mutes the sound.
Okay, so the way to kind of avoiding that when playing all chords is to think of your fingers as arching whenever you play any chords. Another thing that I find helpful too, matter of fact, I need to do it as soon as this lesson is over, is keeping the nails real short on the left hand. Because what they do is they sort of create like a little bridge over the strings and make it harder to really get to the note. So you want to arch the fingers. You can think of your hand as like a C position. Keep the nails short. And just try not to bang into the other strings. Yep. So it takes a little practice. We found something that Ben is not awesome at. Truthfully, some people it takes months to get this chord. I have a feeling you'll get it done in a week. But that's the way to, like, sort of practice it until you get it down. But what I would say, it is good to practice it even once you get the chord down, to practice it from different spots here. Because like I say, if you know this F pattern, you know 12 chords. F sharp, G, G sharp, A, B flat, B. So you know all the major chords if you know that pattern. To do it in a minor is very simple. Instead of doing the 2nd fret, we do the 1st fret. Beautiful. Yeah. Same thing with that chord. Let's go up the frets. Good enough. One last thing, when I was showing you some of these chords, I forgot to do the straight up A, which is a bar across the top 4, but we play just the middle 4. Good. Enough. Okay, we should drill a little bit of pentatonics. So, how about 3rd fret, forwards, backward. Perfect. Okay, another thing we can do is this. Move that pinky up and then descend. When we get to the bottom, move the 1st finger up and ascend. Okay, so I'm going to start here from the second. Go up to 9.
Start with second.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. Yes. Excellent. So that's your sort of like warm-up stretching that you can do for guitar. I always find that most students, if we do that back and forth for maybe 5 or 10 minutes, I notice their picking, their technique tends to wake up right away. And that's the thing that I think is a major hurdle for most of us on the guitar is technique. Everybody seems to struggle with it, especially in the beginning. You know, even like just getting a simple F chord. You know, it's something that we got to sort of work through. But once you gain some basic technique, the sky is the limit. You know, and technique is something that I sort of got interested in it. Maybe, I don't know, 18 or 20 years into playing guitar, I got really interested in building good technique because I paid attention to it for a little while in the beginning, and then I got really into just playing music, which was playing in bands, learning tons of songs, copying other people's solos, and playing professionally. So I didn't have as much time to sit here and ponder, well, should I pick this on a downstroke or an upstroke? It was just like, play the Chuck Berry solo. You know, or play the Led Zeppelin solo, or learn the songs, you know. So that's what I was involved in. So I struggled with good technique. You know, it's almost like being being involved in sports like baseball or something like that, and not really having the proper conditioning to be in baseball, not knowing all the procedures, but being just like thrust into playing baseball games and trying to be good at baseball. So as I got a little older and I noticed that these things would give me trouble. I started looking into good technique. Doesn't have to. There is no sort of. I don't say there's any sort of thing as proper technique for guitar, because guitar is such a wild card instrument that there's different techniques for different kinds of music. Classical technique requires a certain thing. Good jazz guitar requires a certain thing. Same thing with rock and roll guitar or country guitar. You know, they're all. The main thing, though, that I think we all, all the styles really need is a sense of efficiency. Okay, so one thing that's, I think, is very efficient to do is when you're descending, having an even amount of notes on each string. So for instance, when we do the pentatonic scale, there's 2 notes per string, okay? This way we can go down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Okay, it can be very efficient to just do that. What happens when we have 3 notes on one string? So for instance, if we're going to start with 3 notes on the E string, there's 2 things we can do. We can start with an upstroke, and then we're aligned to do downstrokes, or we can do what's known as a pull-off. So the last note in our sequence on the E string, we snap it off. So pick down, pick up, snap off. Want to try that?
What is that?
So I'm on 6, I pick down, 5 is picked up, and that's a snap off. So I snap off from the 5th fret to the 3rd fret. Yeah. So down, up, snap off. Perfect. Let's try that. And the rest, down, up, down, up, down, up. See how fast you can go. Excellent. Excellent. Let's try this to balance it out a little bit. Down, up, pull off, down, up, pull off on the B string, and the rest down, up. Now let's try this. Excellent. So that's a pull off. Again, it's just like a snapping motion. Also, when you pull off from, for instance, here 5 to 3, always make sure the note that you're pulling off to is already down. Otherwise, you'll get this. So we always set it up. Okay? So the opposite of pulling off is a technique known as hammer on. So if we want to go from 5 to 3, from 3 to 5, we hammer. Beautiful. And then pull off. I don't even have to use my right hand if I get that going. Yeah. Kind of like keeping a soccer ball up in the air. Now let me show you a cool technique. So somewhere along the line, somebody discovered that if you do this, you can sort of keep it going forever, right? You don't have to use your pick. Well, somebody along the line thought of, what if we add a note with this finger on another fret? Hammer, or tap, pull off, hammer. Tap, pull off, hammer. You get that sound. So let's try that. Tap at the 10th fret. So this is going to be on the 3rd fret. And the way we tap it is take our first finger and just hammer down with the first finger. Beautiful. Now let's snap that off and hammer to the 5th fret. And guess what? You can move either hand any way, and it's always going to work. So we might have this on the 1st and 3rd, and this on the 12th, or the 13th. Move the right hand all over the place if you want. The technique just always works. So let's go back to the 3rd, 5th, and 10th. 10. Now let's try this. Then pull it off. Always want to try to keep it even too. Excellent. Okay, so I'll tell you a little thing that happened to me. I learned hammer-ons and pull-offs, I don't know, probably 7th or 8th grade, right? And it was like, all right, I guess I'll practice this, you know. But quickly after that, I learned the tapping idea. So what I did was I just got into tapping for a little while with the hammers and the pull-offs. And then all of a sudden, my left hand was good at hammer-offs and pull-offs from doing tapping. Because the tapping trick was kind of fun. It was kind of like... You know, it sounded like Eddie Van Halen, and it was like, all right, I'm gonna do this. I couldn't really play much else, but I could do that, and everybody all of a sudden was like, oh my God, you're awesome. How do you do that? You know, it's a simple technique that just happens to sound good. So I would say practice, instead of trying to practice hammer-on and pull-offs, use the tapping technique. Have fun with that. And then, once again, your hammers and pull-offs will be good and you'll be able to play. So you have any questions or anything?
No.
All right, my friend. Let's pack it up.